And I know we were just talking about what was that, XAI and what Grok was doing and how Grok was taking off now. GPT-5 through the roof. The speed, how well it is. I really love how you can use it with. It's great with coding, right? GPT-5 is really going to, I think, change the game again on how everything is looked at. So this war yet again is a constant battle or foot race for who wants to be in first and who has the best and latest and greatest.
Yeah. I mean, and also like from you coming from a developer background and all the things, it looks like, and even as it's shown right here from OpenAI themselves, for me, like they focused a lot of the use cases, at least that they showed off. Of course, there's a lot more use cases that'll come out, some that we'll showcase from our perspective as well. Definitely our entrepreneurs will be able to just leverage this in just incredible ways, right? That we can kind of go over. But yeah, so I was just super excited to see that they really broke it down into kind of three pillars of what they kind of showcased. And a lot of that was for developers, right? Like from a developer standpoint. And Deuce, that's why I can't wait to kind of hear your perspective from a developer standpoint on how you plan on integrating, ChatGPT 5 and kind of using that. And then for business, like it was awesome. Like they actually took through, like, it seemed like from a product manager, product owner standpoint, is one of the videos that they were kind of showing off as well, just like grabbing customer feedback and basically analyzing that feedback and then turning that into product requirements and going through the whole flow, and even also giving like a wireframe for some of the solutions and all those things, and just walk through all of that. It was awesome. So speed, for me, they didn't really go all in on like all of the benchmarks that normally they go through, but I know it did, of course, break some of the benchmarks. And then as you go to the LLM arena, it's top of the chart now. So GPT-5 is at least from the language models, the conversation and all that, it's top of the charts.
But looking at some of the applications that have come out of using GPT-5 seems pretty sweet. And if you're looking to learn how to code or code a small application, using GPT-5 might be really beneficial for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like coding, just some of the use cases that I've seen today. I mean, you have apparently like GPT-5 is really good at front end development, like, design and all those things. So you can give it a concept. So you can say clone X or clone Twitter or clone whichever one that you regard it as, but clone these other experiences that are out there, and it'll do that, or build me a login page or whatever the case is. And like it really like takes time on designing it. A lot of people how they basically code up like the snake game and all that.
Right, right,
But the
right.
design of the snake game that it does now, it actually has like pulsing, like it different kind of design elements, different color palettes
Which
and
is
all
pretty
those things.
dope, right?
Yeah.
When,
Yeah.
especially when you're coming to creating things like games, like making an application and coding that, the logic behind it is cool, but the design part is where it gets hard, right? And I think that's where GPT-5 can really shine in helping people do code actual games or many applications for that, like just the front end piece of it, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. So, there's different videos. I would definitely suggest like to, go on their site. You can go through it. And actually it's available like to all tiers, which was also cool. Like I really enjoy the fact that they released it to everybody. Deuce,
one of the
what do you think?
more interesting things, though, I thought was pretty interesting. ChatGPT-5 has been fine-tuned to shine against some of those agentic coding products like Cursor, Windsurf, GitHub Copilot. I used GitHub Copilot, pretty heavily when it first came out. So it's pretty cool to see that, hey, we've already put it up against some of these other agentic coding products, and we know it's blowing it out the water. So pretty big claim, but it's pretty cool to see that they're really setting records on and impressing a lot of these testers, right? So a lot of coding tasks may be simplified, or, I'll be interested to see, like, from here going forward, what that looks like for people who are developers and what that looks like for companies where they come to develop something new, right?
This is it's actually pretty groundbreaking. I would think from my perspective, we're talking, physics environments and just like actual environments that the AI that their model is able to just generate. So you can give it a prompt or whatever they're doing to kind of initiate this at the moment, and you prompt it, and it's like generating these environments that you can actually drive or interact with in the environments, and they're staying consistent, which is the coolest thing, because normally when you have AI that generates environments for you, it's not as consistent. Like we've seen some of the earlier different companies that have came out with not necessarily procedural generation, that's a little bit different, but like where it generates these environments, and things change, all the
Right.
time. But in this one, it's very consistent as far as for the color palette, the interaction.
Right.
So as you can kind of see here,
What they
the up,
call
down,
it
left,
is
right. Yeah,
navigation promptable world events, right? Crazy. And the interaction you have with it can last multiple minutes.
yeah. I mean, multiple minutes. So that means like you can prompt it for, a flying simulation or something like that and go through, and like it'll show some of the examples here. So for me, this is like gaming. A lot of people are saying like, that you may be able to prompt the game that you want to play. Like you can create something and it'll kind of generate that game, that you want to play from that.
We got these videos generated, and how can we tell what's real and what's not? How are we going to
Yeah,
be able to decipher if, hey, could be a first person, a point of view of some catastrophic event happening, but it
yeah,
was all generated through Genie 3, right? And it's very navigatable. You can look around. You can see landmarks that look very similar. And because it's so good at doing that, who's going to be able to tell, like, yeah, no, that's not real? Well, like, I mean, well, not
yeah. I
who's going to
mean,
be able to tell. What's going to be the deciphering factor between that,
yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, that's also the concern I would think with, just any of the models, the video models that are right now, because not only just Genie 3, but the VOs and the Klings and all that, because right, they can prompt something that's kind of wild, and but also I think the safeguards, there are stuff we've all typed into models, and something like I've typed in something to a model that and it's just like, oh, I can't answer that. It might be a political question or whatever the case.
So the prompt is this: walking around on a beautiful day outside in Hinsdale, Illinois, real world. There are cars parked. The person is filming. The person filming is standing on the sidewalk. There are flocks of birds flying overhead. So in this prompt, there's cars. They look absolutely real. He opens up a car door and everything. Crazy POV. Keep sliding over real quick on that one, I think. So this video, crazy prompt, right? So walking around on a beautiful day in Hinsdale, Illinois, real world. There are cars parked. The person filming is standing on a sidewalk. There are flocks of birds flying overhead. Insane how incredible this detail is. Like from the sense of
Yeah.
opening the car door, right, to just walking around and seeing. Granted, you can't really tell the model of the car, but how real does this look?
Shadow is crazy, yeah.
Right,
And
the
then what are the
shadows,
flock of birds on the onset of the
everything
video
is very,
also?
very accurate. Cool. And honestly, even if you could sit, like, I could tell, okay, this is not all the way real, but imagine this being just a almost live action type of movie, right? Or just something. Very, very
Yeah, man.
crazy
Yeah,
how
this is
great the
GTA.
detail.
What I'm saying is just like, it definitely fact checks and all those other things. So it's just interesting to see like they really lean into that a lot, because I think with O3, even though it was like, one of their thinking models and all this other stuff, it did have a higher chance to hallucinate from some of the previous models. And it looks like they leaned into that a lot for GPT-5. But yeah, I think that's it.